So we're going to show 3 different ways to get kind of a really aggressive sound with just your fingers. So first and foremost, you can't do this with ultra thick gauge strings or really high action. You need to have what I call the right action is enough to be able to bend your G string up a half a step. So if you can do, then you should be able to do these first techniques. The third one actually works fine on heavier gauge strings. So the first one I feel like a lot of people are familiar with, because every time I go into Guitar Center, it doesn't matter what somebody's playing, they're kind of doing it. Or, you know, I mean, they could be playing, you know. So this first technique, I'm just going to call it what it is. It's beating the shit out of the bass. A la kind of a Geddy Lee, Steve Harris kind of thing. So, yeah. You know, of course, because Geddy played a Precision, right? Not exactly. So this first one, you are just going to kind of hit your finger down on the string while it's fretted. So, you know, again, you're hitting it down and it's clanging on one of the frets. That's that noise you hear. Now, it's easier to get the clang noise, if you don't know, closer here to the neck. You can do it back here too. It depends on the action of your bass. But anyhow, so again, you're just kind of hitting the string down in this one. So something like... Can you believe he's done that like 3 or 4 hours a night for like 40 years? Wow. Steve Harris is a beast. So that is one way. So again, you know, you're just kind of flicking down there, and the advantage of this is that you can have a lot of speed. So that part is cool. It's not for everything, you know, so sometimes you need to discover touch. You know, if something needs to play light, play it light. You don't have to have all that noise in there. So the second thing you can do, I'm going to call the zing. So literally, I guess you could also call it the dig. And literally, it's sort of like what you do when you pop, like, you know. So what you're doing is you're preloading the string to kind of, and for it to work, you know, you kind of have to be staccato about it. It's hard to go. I guess you can do it. So it's not as quick and as easy, but again, it's just digging in, you know. Again, it's not for everything, but if you have something you want to stand out in the mix, and maybe it should be played with a pick, maybe it should be played with distortion. I've got a little bit of distortion going on with the Zoom G1XOn. It's actually a Mesa Boogie Triple Rec patch with very little distortion on, but something like... So that's really a very distorted kind of thing, Blue Oyster Cult, I believe. And, you know, you can just kind of beat the crap out of the bass in a different way here. You know, so you can zing it. So that's one you can do. Now, one that you probably aren't familiar with is a little more subtle than these, but it's great for getting a nice tone on something that's kind of a pump and eighth notes kind of thing. And it's all about just moving like your hand orientation. So if you're playing something like... So what I'm doing there, now again, that's the kind of the dull version. So my hand's kind of like really parallel to the strings, and all I'm gonna do is kind of move my hand around a little bit so that my fingers are more at an angle and I'm getting more of the tip. So now, what I found out over time is it is using just a little bit of your fingernail, although you'll get a different tone than like the flat pad of your hand versus that tip, but it'll be missing a little something if your fingernails are cut crazy short. Mine are not long at all, although this one, that's like the fingernail I'm using. It's actually too long. So sometimes I'm getting... That's the actual fingernail, which is not really the sound you want. But another example would be something like... So again, on that one, it's all about just kind of moving your, kind of the angle of your fingers. It's really good with one finger at a time. It's hard to have control when they're of more than one, when they're at angles. But anyhow, you know... So that's all there is to it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, but that's 3 ways you can get an aggressive tone with just your fingers.